History has shown that some ceasefires are not the end of a war, they are merely pauses between battles. In the summer of 2026, the world watched with cautious optimism as the United States and Iran agreed to halt hostilities after days of dangerous military exchanges. Financial markets stabilized, oil prices eased, and diplomats spoke of a chance for peace. Yet beneath the headlines, the foundations of the ceasefire were already cracking. Within days, missiles once again crossed the skies of the Middle East, proving that the silence of war had been temporary. The ceasefire was born out of necessity rather than reconciliation. Both Washington and Tehran had compelling reasons to pause. The United States sought to prevent a wider regional conflict that could draw in allies and disrupt global trade. Iran, facing mounting military pressure and economic strain, also had incentives to avoid a prolonged confrontation. But neither side fundamentally altered its strategic objectives. They simply postponed the fight. One of the greatest weaknesses of the agreement was the absence of trust. For more than 4 decades, relations between the two countries have been defined by hostility, sanctions, proxy conflicts, and mutual suspicion. Every military movement, every political statement, and every intelligence report is interpreted through the lens of that long history. In such an environment, a ceasefire is only as strong as the confidence each side has in the other's intentions, and that confidence barely existed. The conflict itself was never limited to 2 nations. Across the Middle East, a web of regional actors, armed groups, and allied governments have interests that often extend beyond the negotiating table. Even if national leaders wish to reduce tensions, actions by proxy forces or local commanders can rapidly reignite violence. A single missile launch, drone strike, or miscalculation has the potential to unravel months of diplomatic effort in a matter of hours. Politics at home also shape the fate of the ceasefire. Leaders in both countries face pressure from domestic audiences demanding strength rather than compromise. Any concession risked being portrayed as weakness. In democracies and authoritarian systems alike, national security often becomes intertwined with political survival. As a result, maintaining a fragile peace can become more politically costly than returning to confrontation. Military realities further complicated the situation. During the pause, neither side dismantled its military capabilities. Troops remained deployed, missile systems stayed operational, naval forces continued their patrols, and surveillance missions intensified. Instead of reducing the capacity for war, the ceasefire merely delayed its use. With armed forces remaining on high alert, the margin for error became dangerously small. Economic considerations added another layer of instability. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most critical energy corridors, carrying a substantial share of global oil shipments. Any disruption affects fuel prices, inflation, and financial markets across continents. Both sides understand the strategic importance of this waterway, making it both a bargaining tool and a potential flashpoint whenever tensions rise. The ceasefire also lacked the ingredients that usually make peace durable. Successful agreements often include independent monitoring, clear verification mechanisms, phased implementation, dispute resolution procedures, and sustained diplomatic engagement. Without these safeguards, accusations become difficult to verify, misunderstandings multiply, and each incident increases the temptation to retaliate. As military operations resumed, it became increasingly clear that the ceasefire had treated the symptoms of the crisis rather than its underlying causes. The deeper disputes, regional influence, sanctions, nuclear ambitions, military deterrence, and long-standing geopolitical rivalries, remained unresolved. Until those issues are addressed through sustained diplomacy, each pause in fighting risks becoming only an intermission. The collapse of the ceasefire serves as a reminder that peace cannot rest solely on exhaustion or convenience. Lasting peace requires mutual confidence, enforceable commitments, and a willingness to compromise on issues that neither side can resolve through force alone. Without those foundations, ceasefires become temporary islands of calm in an ocean of uncertainty. As the Middle East once again faces the prospect of prolonged confrontation, the world watches with renewed concern. Every exchange of missiles increases the danger of a broader regional war, threatens international trade, and places millions of civilians at risk. Whether diplomacy can regain momentum remains uncertain, but one lesson is already unmistakable. A ceasefire built without trust, verification, and political commitment is unlikely to withstand the pressures of history.